Today we're going to be talking about the 20-10-5 rule and how we can apply that to figuring out how much of our time we should be spending in what specific areas. The 20-10 rule is indicative of how much time you can be spending on, or where you should be spending your time in different areas for a certain part of the week, and it's designed to fix a few different issues. So here are the issues it's designed to solve. You can do a lot of different things with it. It's designed to help you figure out how much time to spend marketing or biz dev, spending too much time on admin, and the third big one is it time to hire somebody? Okay. Those are the three big outcomes from this. It does require time tracking, and we have two flavors of the rule. The first one is 20-10-5, okay? And this is going to be for typically an owner of a law firm, and they are going to be in handling transaction work, so not going to court, generally driving a desk. The other version, we just multiply this by 4, so you get 80, 40, 20. Not as catchy, so I always talk about this first, and if necessary, talk about the 80, 40, 20. This is for typically a litigation attorney. So this is someone who is going to be going to court. The reason we multiply it by 4 and apply this per month, this is per week, is because litigation can be feast or famine. When litigation hits in a given week, they could only be doing litigation work, and other weeks they may not have any litigation work at all. So it's much more lumpy, which is why we look at it over the course of an entire month rather than a specific week. So let's talk about what these three areas represent. The first one here, this is billable time. So billable time is time spent on client work. For an hour, for a firm that tracks by the hour, usually this is pretty easy to get. For a firm that is more of a flat fee or contingency model, they typically don't track their time. So this may be something that they would need to start, is tracking their time, hence the relationship with the time tracking tool. The second number is business development or marketing. Now this number is going to really vary depending on the area of the country where they live, where their practice is based, those kinds of things. What we're trying to do is we're trying to get them to 3 to 4 events or meetings per week. So I have some clients in San Francisco. They typically can go like 5 minutes and they're at a coffee meeting. So for them to do 10 of those in a given week is going to be pretty tough. But for most of us, if there's travel involved, if these are longer events, you're talking about 3 to 4 events or meetings per week, and it does include travel time. And the last is admin time. Okay, admin time. So this is managing people. It's doing anything that doesn't involve either client work or business development / marketing. People sometimes ask, well, if I'm talking to potential clients, is that billable time, biz dev or marketing or admin? So like during a consultation. And it really doesn't matter, honestly. But if it's paid consultation, we should throw it in billable time. If it's free consultation, you can throw it in biz dev or marketing or billable time, however you want to do it. Just don't put it in admin time, because this is kind of a proxy for inefficiencies. Okay, so those are the three different areas. And if we take the 2010-5 version of this rule, we're going to see a few different things, and we can look at each of these in turn. So the first thing that might come up, and this is with regards to the 20, is maybe they're not billing enough. In which case they need to really put down, they either need to get more focused, get more efficient with their billing, or they just need to get out there and market more. Or the other thing that can happen is billing too much. If they're billing too much, it's time to hire somebody. The other thing they can do if they don't want to hire somebody is raise their rate. So raise rate. That will enable them to work fewer hours, hire someone, or both. If they're not billing enough, more marketing, better time tracking. Right, those are the two things. Okay, so the 10. The 10 is business development. And again, one of the issues might be they're just not spending enough time in business development, in which case they have to do more. The other thing that might be happening is they might be spending too much time in business development, in which case they have to really focus on getting a better ROI and being more selective. So the high eyes that love socializing and love associating with others can get spread really thin. And sometimes they're spending too much time on marketing. But what typically happens is they're not spending enough. So they just need to spend more time on marketing. And what ends up happening is when we start talking about 20 hours a week billable time, 10 hours a week marketing, they start to say, I don't possibly have that much time. And that is because they're spending way too much here. So this is almost always too much. And the way that they can back that down is task prioritization, delegation, and then hiring. These are kind of combined. And the last one is systems. So you might use the word processes. That's what I'm used to. Lawyers like to say the word systems a lot for some reason. So I'm trying to use the word systems more. So that's how you can use this tool. It's pretty powerful. And the way we typically start is we lay this formula out, and then we come up with what are their numbers. So their numbers should be around here. Some law firms will skew more billable time than others, and some people may want a little bit less marketing time. Those are typically the two variables that we play with. But at the end of it, the goal is to get to about a 35-hour work week. And that equals work-life balance. So we get those numbers dialed in. They should be able to have a practice that's growing steadily, where they have good work-life balance, and it's running fairly smoothly. That's the value of getting these three numbers totally dialed in. So how this sets us up for the next conversation around the time log is the big question, right? Where are you spending your time? So you can ask for a guess, and oftentimes I'll start there. Or you can have them complete a time log to really get a good sense of that. So I always try and push them to complete the time log if I can, just because guesses are really off. And by tracking your time, even for a 1 week period of time, it can provide some really interesting insights. And that's what we're going to be covering next is the time log.